No, he's doing good. I mean, it's just, he got his hamstring good earlier in camp, but he's making progress.
And Rob, do you expect him to be a go on Sunday?
We'll see how today's practice goes.
What changes because of this heat, the way you're going to practice this week?
Yeah, we'll just have to change, how many consecutive plays we go in a row. We've had to, Reggie and his group have done a great job being able to adjust, which is some of the, you see we got a 10 here, we'll have a 10 on the field, and so, it'll help us, but we also want to be cognizant of making sure that we're as fresh as possible by the time Sunday night comes around.
Barring unforeseen change, will Detroit likely ready to go Sunday?
Oh yeah, it'll be good.
From a coaching standpoint, a lot of players last week were saying going back to where it ended is motivating. Obviously, it's not a playoff game. Where does that stand for you and some of the coaches?
Every year's a new year. What I do know is this is an excellent football team. They're great in all three phases. They've got great personnel. They're incredibly well coached, and so, and it's going to be a great atmosphere and environment. So for that, we're excited. But every single year is a new year. There's been a lot of time that's passed. There's a lot of new faces. There's a lot of hopeful development that's occurred since then, and I would imagine they would say the same thing. They've made some great additions to their personnel. I know they'll have some good things, schematically, and so what it is a great opportunity for us to start the season against what is going to be an incredibly quality opponent.
Sean, I saw just a comment you made about this being kind of the playoff game last year was the wildest atmosphere since that NFC Championship game in New Orleans. Do you learn anything from what you guys kind of experienced there as far as the atmosphere last year that you can take into this?
Lindsay, I think it's just about the importance of the communication, especially when our offense is out on the field, when our punt operation is out there, hopefully not too often. But it's just really using that experience for the guys that work here, the importance of the nonverbal communication. And so, but it was rocking. It's a real credit to that city, those fans, and what that team has earned based on what they've done.
And then for you personally, when you hear fans like yelling at you or your dad heard fans yelling at you,
Yeah.
what does that make you feel inside?
It's great. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's awesome because they're passionate about their football team, and they said some things that you better have some thick skin to be able to handle. But hopefully they don't mean them personally. But it was. I mean, I thought it was an incredible, cool example of a football city rooting for their team. It's one of the. I'm still a fan of this game. Even though you're the enemy going in there, you walk away and you say a ton of respect for the type of environment and atmosphere that those fans created and that team's earned.
Sean,
Talked about how much you enjoyed coaching last year's game last year's season. What residue does that have this year?
A lot, because there's a lot of the same people. It was all about the people that we were around. I think a renewed perspective. I think certainly, being a dad has helped, gain an appreciation and the appropriate perspective. And really just the experiences. I'm still young, continuing to grow, mature, and try to be better in every part of my life. But I think when you look back on, some of the shortcomings or different experiences that you've had, you realize that these are all great learning opportunities, and what a fortunate blessing it is to be in this role, to be around people that I love, and you want to work hard to do right by them, and also balance, being the best competitor that you can be while understanding there's some things you can control and some things you can't. But these players, these coaches, they've certainly got me feeling really excited about trying to work as hard as I can to do my part to not let them down.
Sean, we've asked you about the heat. Would you?
How do you think this heat is?
Well, brutal. Do you prefer this to the win situation? I mean, would you take
As of
the
right
heat
now,
over the
no.
win?
Here's what I would say, though. I mean, it is part of what you can control, right? This is where we're at, so we're going to do the best we can to minimize any of the distractions. Now, you can't deny that this heat is very real. You put the pads on. So I think Reggie, his group, really our sports performance has done an excellent job of understanding, all right, what are the things that we can do to counter it with the hydration, the importance of just moving some things around schedule-wise, and then still be able to go attack our preparation the right way. My understanding is that it'll cool down at some point, but we do want it to be as minimal of a distraction as possible. But you can't ignore that this heat is real and the guys feel it. But I think we've got a good plan in place so that it won't be any reason for us not to be ready to roll Sunday night.
Sean,
Couple more, guys.
What sort of a challenge are those things in tandem with each other?
I mean,
for your offense?
yeah, I think, I'd be better. There's so much unforeseen, things to occur, especially in the first game of the year. You have to be able to trust your rules. You have to know, some of the things without chasing ghosts. And so that's why you have sound foundational rules in place. And then, some of the personnel that they've added is very good. And what are the strengths of some of their players that they added? You mentioned Reeder. McNeil, I think, is one of the best players in this league that people don't talk about enough. And they've got some really good players on the edges. They're excellent on all three levels. They've added really good personnel, whether that be through the draft or free agency. And I thought they were really hitting their stride, when we played them last year, especially on the defensive side. And their offense is well documented. So as far as what you're asking, Jordan, those are questions that can't really have the answer to until we play the game, just because there's such a limited inventory of film out there.
Does Puka 100% where you want him to be going?
Yeah, he's feeling good, Sarah. He's he had the knee that he tweaked, a couple weeks ago, but he's feeling good. He's got that good look in his eye, and I'm excited for him.
Sean, it was only 3 games, but what did you learn the most about the new kickoff rules?
Probably about as much as you. Here's what I would say. I think that, like I kind of mentioned to you guys, the schemes were incredibly regulated. We saw a lot more returns, but you saw a much more regulated scheme, in terms of man blocking systems. I think you're going to see a lot of different types of schemes. I think this week will give you the better indicator of what's to come. I don't believe the preseason gave us much of a feel for what that play's going to be.
Full transparency, usually we don't read too much into the initial depth charts that are released. We didn't know Corum listed as kick returner, senior return kicks for you guys.
He'd be back there. It's a possibility.
First real game for you in your career here without Aaron Donald. Those new guys who are kind of filling that hole.
Yeah, it makes such a good day negative. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Bring
No.
that with me, right?
No.
Just with your first game without Aaron Donald on the roster, really. I mean, what do you want to see from that group?
I want them to play the way that they're capable of, the way that they played throughout the offseason, through training camp. I want them to be able to play within themselves, go enjoy it. I want them to have a great week of preparation so that they can go play with a quieted mind and cut it loose. I really love this group that we've been around. And we've said it over and over, and you know this too, Lindsay. You're not ever replacing an Aaron Donald, and that's not what we're asking of our guys. I want Kobe Turner to be Kobe Turner. I want Bobby Brown to be Bobby Brown, Braden Fisk to be Braden Fisk, and that's really what we're looking for. And all the guys around him. This is about 11 as one. We were so fortunate and blessed to have such a special player in Aaron Donald be around. What I thought was cool is he set a great example for guys that saw him play. I can use him as stories all the time. He was around last week. I just saw him the other day, and it's pretty special that he's earned the right to be able to be so content, complete and full, to use his words. He's coaching his son's football team, loving that. His 3-year-old son Eric had a great birthday at their house the other day, and so I'm really happy for Aaron. And I do miss him, but I'm excited about the opportunity for these guys to go do their thing and start to etch their names in this thing.
Is there any difference?
Last one, guys.
Is there any difference in your approach going up against a quarterback that you know well in Jared Goff?
Jared's played really well. I think he's earned that contract. He takes him to an NFC Championship. Did a lot of great things for us here. I think you have an appreciation for what a good quarterback, what command. You hear them talk about the ownership that he has and being able to take on more. What a great job he's done leading an outstanding offense. He and Ben Johnson, you can see, have a really good rapport. I think if there's anything, there's a tremendous amount of respect, but it's been a few years since we've been together, but you've still seen a lot of the great things that he did here show up there. Okay?
Thanks, Sean.
Appreciate it.